Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 17 of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Quaker State 400 here at DuQuoin State Fairgrounds. We're at yet another mild dirt track in the state of Illinois as we are getting set for 50 laps of racing here at DuQuoin. Pit strategy is going to be massive during this race, so I'm going to be curious to see how we're going to see things play out in this special event. But the top 10 in the point standings coming into the race here today, Michael Norman extended his points lead to 120 points over Jay Jefferson. 145 over Daniel DK, 215 over James Qualls, 235 over both Keith Miller Jr. and Kyle Matthews, 275 over the pole sitter for today, Cole Deaver, 285 over Laney Marino, 315 over Scott Groverston, 350 over Dylan Poteet. Top 10 in the starting lineup for today, Cole Deaver on the pole, like I said, with Henry Sanford starting in second, row 2, Daniel DK, Jonathan Zorleen, row 3, Dylan Poteet, Kyle Matthews, row 4, Alex Ferranti, Jordan Forbes, and in the final top 10, row 5, Michael Norman and Rafael LeDuc. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Quaker State 400 at DuQuoin.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 actually make that 37 cars on the racetrack. The reason why it's only 37 is because, again, similar situation to Toledo, just not enough pit stalls for a 40-car field, so only the top 7 from the Go or Go Home session was able to make the race here today. So that's why it's only a 37-car field. But as you can tell with just already here on the pace lap, this track is very, very bumpy. So we're going to be in for something here in this race. We're going to see drivers struggle to get the handling down on the cars because of just how bumpy this track is. And just look at those cars rattle going at just 45 or so miles an hour. So this is going to be an interesting race either way you slice it. But the pace car is pulling into pit road, and ladies and gentlemen, it is time to boogity 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 go racing. Well, Jonathan Zorleen decided that he wanted to lead the first lap, and I thought for a moment we was going to see somewhat of a repeat of what we saw during the race at Springfield back on Monday, where drivers were going to start going crazy right off the bat, but so far not really much of that is going on, and already some dust kicked up from probably drivers being all the way up at the very top of the track where the dry dirt is, as opposed to running on the normal lanes. But yeah, drivers starting to get single file up here in the top 5 or so as drivers are trying to make moves, as Alex Ferranti has been working his way up slowly but surely. And Ferranti, this is only his 9th start of his career, and he is yet to score a top 10 finish. He's definitely looking to try and break that curse and get his first top 10 finish of the season. In fact, only 3 drivers this season have yet to score a single top 10 this season. Alex Ferranti, Ricky Carman, and last in points, Mitchell Collins. And we haven't seen Mitchell Collins make a race in quite a long time. Maybe he'll get his luck starting at Chicago on Friday. But back up here at the front, Jonathan Zorling trying to extend his lead, and he's about got a 1 second lead now over Kyle Matthews. And Kyle Matthews looking for his second win of the season in order to tie Lindsey Snyder for most wins in the season so far. But Jonathan Zorling looking to get his first win of the season. And think about this. So far coming into this race, 16 races in, 15 different winners. The only driver who has won multiple races, Lindsey Snyder, and that was 2 of the 3 international swing races. And I'm trying to remember which 2 they were. I believe one of them was at Calder Park, the other one was at Champs-Élysées, I believe. I could be wrong, but I do know she won 2 of those 3 races during the international swing. Meanwhile, Alex Ferranti, look at him go, and in fact, he has the fastest lap time, and he actually made it even faster, 29.802. So he's the only driver who has run under 30 seconds. Everybody else has been at like 30.1 or so. And look at Ferranti come up through trying to get to second past Kyle Matthews. So perhaps if we have a long green flag run here, Alex Ferranti could have a shot at making a move on Jonathan Zorling to take the race lead. As it's 1.5 seconds between first and second, as Ferranti looking really good on the racetrack, although Kyle Matthews is right there behind him. Perhaps he might be trying to push it to get back up to the spot, that, or he might have used up everything he had, and now he's going to start to slip back a little bit. So I'm going to keep an eye on the 5 and the 00 and see how they both stack up lap time-wise. And Ferranti completely obliterated Zorling, even though Zorling just ran the 4th fastest lap on track. Kyle Matthews actually ran a little bit faster than Zorling too. So the top 3 are running pretty quick on the racetrack. Meanwhile, we got a battle on for 4th. Jordan Forbes has the spot, but Dylan Poteet wants it. And you want to talk about a big momentum shift for one driver this season? Dylan Poteet, despite missing 2 races early in the season, he's been slowly climbing his way up through the point standings, up to 10th coming into the race today, looking to go even higher in the standings. Currently now up to 4th as he finally cleared the 39 of Forbes. As I'm keeping my eye up here at this stuff going on up here at the front, and Alex Ferranti still running down Jonathan Zorling, now under a second. And at that last lap time, 29.999. So Ferranti has still got a lot left in the tank. Although a couple other drivers have now broken under 30 seconds. Seth Cole and Matt McIntyre. Don't know where those guys are running currently. We'll find out in just a little bit when we do the full field rundown. But also you gotta keep in mind of green flag pit stops. When will those end up occurring? Meanwhile, Ferranti cuts the lead in about 33% of the lead down. And yeah, you can tell that Zorling's really slow, but Ferranti is really fast, still running under 30-second lap times. And he is closing in quick. So we could be in for an interesting battle for the lead momentarily. Ferranti didn't run as fast on that lap, but still closed the gap by less than 1/10 of a second that previous lap. Just keeping my eye out, for the back of the field and see how far behind they were to the 00 and see if we was going to have any lap traffic come into play momentarily. But I don't think so. Ferranti now to a little over 3/10 back, so Ferranti is closing in by a little over 1/10 every lap. was. We'll see if he can close up even further. But while I wait on all that, let's actually try and do a full field rundown to see how things are looking currently, as Zorline's still hanging on to the lead, but by how much at this point? Still by less than 0.3 of a second. So Jonathan Zorline has been the race leader all race so far. Second is Alex Ferranti. Third is Dylan Poteet. Fourth is William Brock. Did I say 13th? I meant third. Fourth is William Brock. Fifth is Jordan Forbes. Sixth is Seth Cole, and he was blazing fast out there on the track. Seventh, Dylan Jacobs. Eighth, Matt McIntyre. Ninth, Jessica Shelton. Well, actually, we got pit stops happening, and Jonathan Zorline sacrificed the lead to come into pit road, so never mind on the full field rundown, and it looks like we might have 3 pit stops if we stay clean and green the whole way through. Possibly 3 pit stops, so it's all probably going to come down to pit strategy if we stay green. Now here comes Ferranti in the pit road for himself. Now Poteet, Seth, Matt, Shelton and company all coming in as well. Some contact. Whoa! Major contact with Rafael Leduc and Charles Sanford. And actually, Alex Ferranti looked like he got into somebody on pit road. Same with William Brock. But Jonathan Zorling came out. But the caution has just come out on the racetrack. And I don't know what it was for. Trying to look around to see if there was any stopped cars. And I ain't seeing anything. Could it be a phantom caution? I'm not sure. And I don't know who's going to end up with the race lead now. Could it still be Ferranti? Could it be somebody else? I don't know, as pit road is very, very congested. It's a very narrow pit road, and there you see contact. Whoa, there's big contact with Alyssa Drayson and Jesse Turner with front-end damage on both of those cars. And I believe, according to scoring, right now it is still Alex Ferranti up at the front of the field. That, or the way the field's going to look is going to be really weird. But I think Ferranti is the leader now, and now he's going to finally slow down for the pace car. I don't know why he's still... Oh, he might be trying to get back to the back bumper of the pace car. I believe as all these pit stops are happening... Whoa, James Qualls got sideways. We somehow avoid complete disaster right there. I believe what's happening is because of the pace car coming out so late, we're probably waiting for the scoring to get fixed, and now Alyssa Drayson finally gets the hood taken off the car. So let's find where the 5 is. There he is. He's finally coming back around the field. Is he going to be in front of everybody, or is he going to have to start behind all of these cars? And I believe it looks like he's going to have to start behind traffic. So this really shook up the field in a big way, although could change. But while we wait for the scoring to get fixed, let's take a look and see what brought the caution out for the first time today, if we can find it, here at DuQuoin. Well, I think I may have found a culprit for why the caution came out, and what you're going to see is one of the most bizarre things I have ever seen in the history of Marvel Studios Cup competition. So Jay Jefferson is making his pit stop, about ready to wrap up his pit stop, taking 4 tires and fuel. Not really much issue until a lot of drivers behind him are coming into pit road. And as Jefferson is about ready to pull out of his stall, Jessica Shelton in the 02 is going to try and come into her stall. And actually, she gets into the 14 of Matt McIntyre, and McIntyre and Jefferson make contact. I believe as McIntyre was trying to get into his stall, and then Shelton tries to get into hers, and then she's going to teleport, slide into pit road, and then into Jay Jefferson, and there you're going to see, and I do see the actual caution coming out. It looked like it was between Quentin Moore and Scott Groverston, but look at this. As Shelton is trying to get her pit stop done, she ends up crushing the 0-1 through the wall, damaging the inner workings of the car. So look at that. I'm guessing because of just massive miscommunication, those two cars are just messed up. And no, it looks like just the 27 just flat out lost it. So this is coming off of turn 4 as some cars are trying to make their stops. Yeah, right there, just off the corner, the 27 of Quentin Moore just flat out loses it off the corner. I thought he got hit by the 42 of Scott Groverston, but that was not the case, and Quentin's car actually goes right rear first into the outside wall, but not really any visible damage, so he should be okay. But, yeah, a couple of bizarre instances. A pit road incident, as you can see right there with Shelton and Jefferson, causing major damage to both of those cars, and Quentin Moore just losing it off of 4. But let's take you to the restart here at DuQuoin. Well, after that first caution, we have one car out of the race, and that is Jay Jefferson, who came in second in points, so the top 10 in the standings is going to get shaken up in a big way. But yeah, because of scoring issues, we've got a quite messed up field, and the leader should honestly be Seth Cole, but then you got some cars restarting on the inside lane who are a lap or more down that will probably end up getting their lap back as a result of restarting in front of the leader. So if these guys can get a quick caution and cycle back around, that would be a big thing for them. Green flag is back out as, honestly, the real leader should be Seth Cole as he's way out in front of everybody. But according to scoring, it is Alex Ferranti and Dylan Poteet who scored second. And they are the only top two that are back here. And whoa, Ferranti got really high off the corner, and now Poteet's going to take advantage and try and make a move to the inside to get to the lead, although some cars kind of wobbling around as they're going up, way up into the dirt. Oh, things could get ugly here. Dylan Jacobs pulled out in front of everybody to get into pit road. Ferranti and Poteet still kind of fighting in a bit of a hornet's nest up here. Not really sure of what to do around all these lapped cars or tail-end cars. Ferranti still hanging on for the time being. As Quentin Moore, it looked like he was just trying to push the issue and get up in front of the 5 and just not really making it work. Jordan Forbes coming in. I believe some cars are still having to come into pit road to top off on gas, and I see a lot of damaged cars. Even Daniel DK with no hood on the front end of his machine. As Ferranti's trying to get through traffic, and Dylan Poteet's still towards the very back, just can't get around anybody. And he gets blocked down towards the wall by Jordan Lopez, so lap traffic is not really being friendly to the top 2 as Kyle Matthews is now into pit road. Keeping an eye out on the top 2 with Ferranti and Poteet. Poteet trying to get a run going as he is running a little bit faster than the 5 of Ferranti because he's on the bottom, so he's able to get that bigger run. But at the same time, whenever cars are trying to basically block his lane, it's costing him a lot of speed in corner entry. Ferranti in the middle of a 3-wide situation between Scott Groverston and Carson Gump, but gets in front of the 42 and has now finally put his car to the bottom in hopes that he can start picking off lap traffic bit by bit, so that way he can get ahead clean, so to speak. And I'm shocked that those cars that restarted on the inside lane ahead of the leaders didn't get their lap back. I'm honestly surprised with that, but now look at Poteet. He had a run going, though. So right now, unless something drastic happens, which I do have a feeling it will happen, because I got a feeling that in about 4 to 5 laps, we're going to see more pit stops, because short pit window here at this track. It's only 1 mile, and the pit frequency set to 3x, so we're going to be seeing pit stops left and right before too long. But Ferranti hanging on to barely a margin over Poteet, and now Poteet to the inside, trying to get that run. Ferranti still got some speed up the top side, but can't quite hang on to it, and now Dylan Poteet takes the top position on track. But can Poteet get around the lap traffic? And as I've seen so far with this green flag run, he's had a hard time getting around lap traffic. And Ferranti was looking to try and get a run going, but couldn't quite make it stick. And now officially Poteet led at the line. As both Ferranti and Poteet now stuck on the top side as lap cars trying to get by the both of them to get their lap back. Jordan Lopez and Carson Gum. Carson with no hood. There's quite a few cars on track that do not have a hood. And now it's because of the pit road skirmish that took place. Meanwhile, let's go back up to the very front of the field where honestly the leader should be, and that's Keith Miller Jr., currently running third, and he is running really fast lap times compared to the 5 and the 31. Hell, I got a feeling that possibly if no pit stops happen in the next few laps, he could probably cut the lead down in half in that margin of time, because he is just running really quick lap times over the top two. Well, at least he was. Now Poteet and Ferranti are starting to pick it up a little bit now that they've finally got around a few lap cars, but who knows if it's going to last, as Cole Deaver was in pit road. As I'm still looking around to keep an eye out on things, but Poteet trying to get around some cars to try and pull away from the 5. And keep this in mind, Poteet already has a win this season. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head where it was he won, but he's trying to go for win number 2 of the season to join Lindsey Snyder in the list of multi-time winners of Season 10. Currently leads by 3/4 of a second over the 5 of Ferranti. But now as I'm seeing slowly but surely a few cars here and there coming into pit road, it's going to be interesting. And actually the top 2 are coming in now. Poteet and Ferranti have elected to come into pit road now, so perhaps one more pit stop if it's green the rest of the way. And man, could you imagine how close it'll be, because, you know, it seems like it's a 13 to 15 lap pit window for a lot of these cars. So it's probably going to come down to who can come out of the pits the fastest before the end of the race if it's green the whole way through. Because I got a feeling we'll see these pit stops happen with a couple of laps to go, as things are getting really crazy elsewhere as drivers are just trying to find some real estate to get ahead. And some cars are actually scraping the pit wall as they exit, but Poteet got out ahead just barely over Ferranti. Still looking around to make sure everybody's coming out of the pits okay. And the caution has just come out again, and that's going to really shake up stuff. And it looks like Michael Norman, the points leader, might have been the culprit, as he looked like he was just spun around and got rear end damage, and according to, and actually some more cars damaged. Looks like a multi-car wreck. Charles Sanford and Ryan Acosta being a couple of them. And according to the scoring pylon, James Qualls has the race lead now. But he is yet to come to pit road. Oh man, and I think because of the fact he stretched out the gas a little longer, all he has to do is make this one stop, and I think he could be good to go for the rest of the race possibly. But yeah, the scoring has definitely gotten turned upside down once again as James Qualls stayed out during the caution. Now I'm going to keep an eye on this and see if he's going to come into pit road this time or not. And it looks like he is, so you can top off on gas and tires. And Alyssa Drayson just teleported to pit road, so either she was involved in whatever happened to bring the caution out, or there was a follow-up incident that happened. But yeah, James Qualls was scored as the race leader as he is making his possible final pit stop. I mean, we'll see how it all plays out for him. Oh, watch out. Oh, a little bit of contact with Charles Sanford, but doesn't look like it's going to hurt him much. So he should be okay. Or could Dylan Poteet have the race lead back? Yeah, I think Poteet now might have actually gotten the lead back because of that. So Qualls looks like he'll be restarting second. And Keith Miller Jr. is apparently out of the race. So we've got a lot we're going to have to probably look at here before too long. But we'll see how things look as we're going to take a look and see what brought the caution out for the second time and the aftermath here at DuQuoin. So here's a look at what happened to bring the caution out, and I got a feeling it's going to be in a similar fashion to what happened with the first caution, but we'll see how it happens. But it's going to involve the points leader, Michael Norman, who's running up on the very top of the racetrack, and then what looks like is going to happen, yeah, exactly the same thing that happened to Quentin Moore. He just loses it off of turn 4 somehow. And then he's going to back it up into the wall pretty much in the exact same fashion as Quentin Moore. And then he's going to get hit right there by Charles Sanford. And then Sanford gets rear-ended by Ryan Acosta in a huge hit that caused both cars to get airborne for a moment. Really just a situation of having nowhere to go as Norman's car just stayed up on the top of the racetrack. Not really much he could have done different in that situation. But now I need to kind of see about any follow-up incidents that might have taken place. Oh yeah, there was a big wreck that happened in turn 1. Looks like it was because of everybody slowing down. Poteet taking the caution and just not... A lot of drivers just not realizing that Poteet, Ferranti, and Carson Gum were slowing down to take the caution. And then you're going to see some cars kind of fly into this whole thing. Looks like the first one that might be making some contact is Dylan Jacobs as he's trying to slow it down. He's on the brakes, but then he runs into DK, then into Norman, then into Carson Gum, and then right there it was Alyssa Drayson just rear-ended Dylan Jacobs and actually ripped off a part of the car. Lisa Nelson getting in there, Carson Gum getting a piece. Just lack of brakes right there for some cars, or just not having any knowledge of what was going on. Yeah, you can see, I can see the part that flew off the 41. It was the right rear quarter panel that just got sheared off of the 41, courtesy of the 87. And then, oh, there's the contact with Keith Miller Jr., Melissa Alexander getting a piece. So that would explain why the 15 was done for today. But yeah, a lot of damaged cars here at DuQuoin. So let's take you to the restart here at DuQuoin. Well, after that second caution, we got 4 more cars out of the race. Dylan Jacobs, Keith Miller Jr., Alyssa Drayson, and Lisa Nelson. Unfortunately, there is still bottom 2, and Lisa Nelson and Jay Jefferson are going to be the 2 drivers that will not be getting points as a result of the race today. But yeah, as far as who is where on the track, the top 4 is right here. Dylan Poteet leading with James Qualls second, Alex Ferranti third, and Charles Sanford fourth. So this is the top 4 on the racetrack. So depending on if we get another caution or not, and maybe another pit stop if it stays green the rest of the way, we'll see what happens. But the green flag is back out with 12 laps to go. And Alex Ferranti trying to get that inside lane going so he can make the move past James Qualls for second. And Ferranti coming in pretty quick, although they've got a ton of lap traffic to have to work with. And Poteet having to slow down massively as they are like 3 wide everywhere in front of the leaders. So things can go wrong in an instant, and side by side between Ferranti and Poteet, but Ferranti gets held up by that inside groove. as things are just really out of hand back here in the back of the field, aka the front of the lead pack. And wow, they were 4 wide right there, and they're still running 4 wide back here, and Poteet got sent way up high, cost him the lead, and he's going to lose spots beyond repair. And Alex Ferranti has the race lead once again. But for how long, though? Poteet trying to hang on up top. Meanwhile, James Qualls just trying to kind of survive it on the bottom. Same with Charles Sanford. And I'm shocked Sanford has scored 4th. As look at the damage. No rear end. Buckle on the front end of his car. Yet he's still somewhat up to speed. Alex Ferranti's trying to pull away from everybody behind him so he can have some cars in between himself and second place to kind of put himself in a bit of a comfort zone. But even at that, no one is safe as Michael Norman had to come into pit road. So it goes to show that not really anybody's going to be able to make it on gas. And really the one guy who's somewhat in the catbird seat is James Qualls, because he stayed out when that caution came out and pitted with 15 laps to go. So as long as he can do what he's doing, and that's conserve a little bit, he could be golden to win the race if things play out in his favor. Right now, Alex Ferranti's still hanging on to the top spot, but still having a tough time getting through traffic, as we are still green, and when we get to the line, it'll be 7 laps to go. And I'm looking around to see if anybody else is coming to pit road, and it's still just Michael Norman. I believe he was trying to repair some damage that he had sustained from that second caution. But yeah, just really there's no clean car out there on the racetrack really at all. Well, except for perhaps Cole Deaver. Well, no, I was going to say I thought Cole Deaver's car was clean. Maybe Scott Groverston's car is fairly clean. Yeah, Groverston's car is pretty clean, but he ain't battling up here at the front of the field for the win. As meanwhile, Alex Ferranti trying still to pull away from everybody, as he just ran a pretty fast lap time, now 1 1/4 second over Dylan Poteet, who is still having a tough time getting through traffic. And James Qualls having a tough time getting through traffic as he's trying to get up to second to get past the 31. And he's tried to make it 3 wide for the spot. And if things can work out for the 70, it looks like he might get second. And they are still 3 wide, and Qualls is going to beat Poteet for second at the line with 5 laps to go. But now it's almost 2 seconds, and Poteet took that corner way high. And I'm still looking around to see if anybody's coming into pit road this time. Because like I said, I'm not sure if everybody, except for maybe 1 or 2 people, can make it on gas. 4 laps to go here at DuQuoin. Alex Ferranti's lead has grown to 2.5 seconds, but does he have enough fuel is the question. So not only has this been a wreck fest, it's coming down to fuel mileage, so interesting circumstances to say the very least. Meanwhile, Poteet and Sanford have really, really lost it. And James Qualls, I believe he's trying to play it smart and conserve in case drivers have to come to pit road, but it's now less than 3 laps to go, and I haven't seen anybody else come into pit road besides Michael Norman. But now Ferranti coming across more lap traffic. It could help Qualls, or it might not. But we're getting ready to come to 2 laps to go here at DuQuoin. And Dylan Young is in pit road, so I don't know. Some drivers might try and stretch it out to the end. 2 to go here at DuQuoin for Alex Ferranti. And his lead continues to grow little by little. All he's hoping for is to just stay on the racetrack and have enough gas. Otherwise, if he runs out of fuel, it's going to be really, really, really big. And now he's having to deal with 3 to 4 wide, and he's really loose in 3 and 4, and a lot of cars came into pit road, so I don't know, it's going to be a close fight. As the white flag is out, Alex Ferranti, he's just trying to stay on track. But does he have enough gas? I know Qualls has more gas than the 5, but does the 5 have enough to make it to the line? I mean, he's got a pretty big lead. I think he can maybe coast it to the way, and he's going to get it, and I believe he is going to get the win. First win of the season, first top 5, and first top 10 of his career. Checkered flag in a crazy race. Alex Ferranti wins the Quaker State 400 at DuQuoin. Somehow, someway, just barely had enough to make it to the end. And I believe Ferranti has now just run out of gas, so he had like about a quarter lap to the good before he started to run out. So, barely pulled it off by a hair, did Alex Ferranti, but congrats to the 5 team, and that's the first win of the season for that new team of JJ Automotive. And Alex Ferranti gets the win for the team. But let's look at the rest of the results. James Qualls, only his 3rd top 5 of the season. I thought if Ferranti couldn't make it on gas, he was going to snooker a win away from the 5, but still, great points day, finishing in 2nd. I believe that could possibly put him, well, no, not into the points lead, but close to the points lead. Charles Sanford with a great run in 3rd despite the damage he sustained. Jonathan Zorling, who led the early part of the race, that is his 6th top 5, 8th top 10 of the season. So Zorling's showing some momentum going. And then Kyle Matthews continuing something, finishing in 5th. William Brock with a great run in the 6th spot. Jordan Lopez with his 4th top 10 finish in just 7 starts. Seth Cole with his 2nd top 10 of the season in 8th. Jordan Forbes with a great run in 9th. And Rafael Leduc, despite being the first car lap down, finishes strong with a 10th place finish. Then there is your top 20, top 30, and then the rest of the cars, including the bottom 2 being Lisa Nelson and Jay Jefferson. So that does it for our coverage here today at DuQuoin for the Quaker State 400. This Friday, the 3rd and final race of the Illinois portion of the Midwest Swing as we head to Chicago Motor Speedway. But until then, here is Alex Ferranti's victory burnout, if it comes through, and the point standings heading into Chicago. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.